War, it's a brutal thing. By 1944, Europe was weary. Years of fighting, millions dead. The Allies, they were pushing back against Hitler's Germany. We thought victory was close. We were wrong. In the Ardennes forest, a storm was brewing. A desperate gamble by the Nazis. They called it Operation Watch on the Rhine. We called it the Battle of the Bulge. For the Allies, the goal was clear end this war. Liberate Europe from the grip of tyranny. Every step forward was a step closer to peace and freedom. But the Germans, they had other plans. They were determined to turn the tide, to reclaim their lost ground and change the course of history. Hitler, he was desperate. He needed a miracle to revive his crumbling empire. His desperation was palpable, his plans increasingly reckless. His goal, split the Allied lines, capture the port of Antwerp and disrupt the Allied supply chain. This was his last gamble, his final throw of the dice. A victory here, it might just buy him time to regroup, to fortify, to launch further offensives. The stakes were incredibly high. For us, for the world, losing wasn't an option. The resolve of the Allied forces was unbreakable, their determination unwavering. This battle, it wasn't just about land, it was about freedom, about the future of humanity. It was a fight for the very soul of the world. The Ardennes forest, cold, dense, unforgiving. We thought it was quiet, too quiet. The Germans, they used the bad weather, the thick forest, to hide their movements. They amassed tanks, soldiers, weapons. We were outnumbered, outgunned, and we didn't even know it yet. The stage was set, the trap was sprung. Section 4, Fire and Ice, the Battle of the Bulge, explodes, December 16th, 1944. The Ardennes forest, blanketed in snow, became the stage for one of the most intense and pivotal battles of World War II. It began with the roar of artillery. The ground shook as shells rained down, signaling the start of a massive German offensive. The Germans attacked with fury, a desperate all-out assault. The Bulge had begun. Their aim was to split the Allied forces and capture the vital port of Antwerp. American soldier, the fighting was brutal. We faced relentless attacks, and the cold was as much an enemy as the Germans. Snow and ice turned the battlefield into a nightmare. Vehicles were immobilized, and frostbite claimed as many soldiers as bullets. We fought house to house, tree to tree. The dense forests and small villages became deadly arenas of close-quarters combat. Every inch of ground was contested. The landscape was littered with the remnants of fierce skirmishes, each side unwilling to yield. War correspondent, stories of courage and sacrifice echoed through the frozen forests. Soldiers displayed extraordinary bravery, often risking their lives to save their comrades. Bastogne, a crossroads town, became a symbol of American resilience. The town's strategic importance made it a focal point of the battle. Surrounded, outgunned, the men of the 101st Airborne held the line. Their tenacity and determination became legendary, embodying the spirit of resistance and fortitude. Section 5, Turning the Tide, Aftermath and Remembrance. The Battle of the Bulge was Hitler's last stand, his final gamble. It was a desperate attempt to turn the tide of the war in his favor, but ultimately, it ended in a crushing defeat. After weeks of bitter fighting, the Allied line held firm. The resilience and determination of the Allied forces were put to the ultimate test, and they emerged victorious. Veteran, the cost of victory, it was high. The price paid in human lives and suffering was immense, and the memories of those who fought and fell will forever be etched in history. Thousands were dead, wounded, or captured on both sides. The battle left a trail of devastation and loss, a stark reminder of the brutal reality of war. But the tide had turned. The Battle of the Bulge marked a significant turning point in World War II, shifting the momentum firmly in favor of the Allies. Belgian civilian, the Battle of the Bulge reminds us of the courage of ordinary men in extraordinary circumstances. It was a testament to the human spirit and the will to fight for what is right. It reminds us that freedom is precious, worth fighting for. The sacrifices made during the battle underscore the value of the freedoms we enjoy today. We remember the Bulge not to glorify war, but to reflect on the sacrifices made by so many. It is a solemn reminder of the cost of conflict. We honor those who sacrificed their lives, their futures, and their dreams. Their bravery and selflessness paved the way for a better world, and we ensure that such horrors are never repeated. By remembering the past, we commit to building a future of peace and unity. where the lessons of history guide us towards a better tomorrow.